Hello, Danielle here, and I'm going to be putting together a sort of template that I've created, a 6x8 template to go into my new 2022 December daily album. And my plan is to basically replicate something that I created in my 2021 album, but just a slightly different format. So anyone that's watched I have a whole flip through video of this album, so if you're interested then that's on this channel as well. But this particular page I made last year I used to have templates of these sort of phones on my Etsy, and they're just sort of line drawings, basic. But basically I printed out one of these and then I popped it up on foam pads, and then I sandwiched 2 pieces of acetate together and filled it full of sequins, and I just kind of popped it on here so it's raised up, and then printed out a text exchange with me and my husband that could then sort of slide inside this little telephone. So it was like a little pocket, but with sort of sequins and sort of a bit sparkly and fun. I really like it. The only sort of downside to doing this I've noticed over just the last year is that when I've kind of gone back to this album, the black has sort of come off of the phone a little bit, just because the ink I was using from the printer wasn't great, so I think that's probably part of the problem. So it's sort of transferred off a little bit, and also because I wasn't sort of so delicate with the foam pads I've used, it's kind of gone a little bit bendy. So yeah, just things to be aware of, and then kind of trying to fix things on like the next project. So I really love the look of it still, and I'm really pleased with it. But I just kind of thought there's potential here to do some other things, and also to create some new templates and put them up in my new store on my website. So the line drawings will still exist. So if you do just like this kind of black and white basic version, they will still be there as well. But what there will also be is a load of other bits and pieces. So I'll sort of move that guy out of the way and then show you kind of what I'm up to here. So I printed out this 6x8 on my silhouette, and then I've used the printing cup to chop this guy up into 6x8 size. And what I've also done, is chopped out the centre of this TV, and also added a little score line in the top here, if you see. It's just a real pale polka dot on the background as well. I don't know if that kind of comes up on the camera. But basically my plan is, as similar with the telephone, is to have this kind of page where basically what I can do is either have a bit of vellum behind this TV, or I could have a bit of acetate with sort of like a pattern on it, or it could just be plain acetate. And then what I can do is sandwich 2 pieces of anything together, create a sequin sort of pocket again, and then use this here to slide in kind of movies and things that I've been watching. So it would kind of be a little interactive sort of pocket where you could have your sort of little movies, kind of, you'd pull them out and then you'd have like the screen grab on the front that would show through the TV, and then on the reverse you could have a little bit of journaling. There's also a die cut version of this which I've sort of chopped out, just a mini version, so I can kind of show that too. The silhouette's kind of gone a little bit rogue with the cutting of this one, so got a little kind of white border on here, but same rules would apply. Like you'd have a little bit of like an acetate pocket, and then you could use like these teeny tiny little tabs that then you would sort of slide in behind it, and then you could have like, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so little tabs popping out the top, and then you'd be able to pull those out and you could back them with the little journaling version. So you'd have like this kind of sort of fun sparkly TV front with then these little pockets that would sort of pull out with your TV programs on them, or your Christmas sort of movies. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. What I will do is sort of attempt to make those things. So I can kind of show you how the actual templates would work, and then you can kind of do what you like with it, really. You know, you could, I'd say this would probably be the more simple version because it's already cut to 6x8 size. The you know, the cut in the top would be already there. You would just need to create your sort of vellum, your little vellum or acetate pockets, and then you'd slide in whatever you wanted, and then this would just end up getting like backed to, you know, whatever's on your next page for the following day, like a full page photo or kind of whatever you'd want to kind of back on it. But this would be kind of like its own little thing. You just make sure to just glue around the edges so you didn't end up interrupting anything that was going on with this pocket. But yeah, I think that's kind of the plan. So what I'm first going to do is create this little, I'm going to chop this out and try and like create my little vellum or acetate pockets. So what I'll do is just go away and then get the kind of bits and pieces together, and then I'll come back and kind of show you the next stage. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Bye. Okay, so I've cut my acetate to two pieces of acetate, and what I've done is I've cut them to just sort of slightly bigger than the space here. So what I want is a kind of a little bit of an overlap, so it gives me enough room to sort of tape it down on all the corners. We're going super low tech. We're just going to use this. I mean, there's plenty of different ways you can adhere these things together, and also, you know, you could even stitch, you could do all kinds of sort of fun fancy things, but as this is just me kind of doing a basic template to kind of show you what you can do at sort of the simplest kind of level, I thought this is probably the best way to go, to just do that on camera. Likewise, this is just some little pieces of polka dot vellum for this one, which I've just again just cut whoops, just slightly larger than the actual TV, the shape of the TV. So we'll do the same thing there. What I'll probably have to do is, just because I don't have any red line tape at the moment, I'll probably just need to cut this in half to kind of just get closer to the edges. And what I'll do is I'm going to tape them down on three sides and leave the top open as a sort of pocket, so then I can put in my sequins mix, and I'll finally seal that up. So what I'll basically do is, oops, make sure I'm also in the that's the other thing, you don't want to be taping it all down and then finding you have to trim it all up. So let's see how we get on here. I don't really do videos like this where I kind of do stuff on camera, because A, it stresses me out. Big styly. Let's deep braid together. And yeah, I tend to make mistakes because I'm sort of conscious of talking and not conscious of thinking, which is dangerous at the best of times. But we'll see how we get on here. I can delete this if it all goes completely wrong. Let's see. I do. It's a shame though, because I do. You know, I know tutorials are helpful, and when I have done them in the past, I have sort of enjoyed them existing and people sort of commenting and saying like, you know, this is helpful, thank you, and things like that. But yeah, I'm aware that I'm not a great teacher, and I struggle. But then saying that, I was kind of like quite pleased the other day when I was watching Suze on a video, and she was sort of saying how, you know, she finds it difficult to do things on camera, and I've seen Ali say the same thing as well. So, you know, you kind of feel like, well, at least you're in good company when these sort of amazing people are saying that they can't necessarily do it very well on camera either. You sort of go, okay, good. Maybe it's not a me thing. Cool, so we've got our little window, and I've just got this open at the moment, and then what I'm going to do is pour in a little bit of these sequins. If you're after sort of Christmas sequin mixes, or just sequin mixes in general really, Cheryl makes some really amazing ones. This is one of Cheryl's mixes, so I will link her shop below so you can check it out. This is going to be a little bit fiddly to do with me showing you, so just bear with me while I try not to pour stuff all over my desk. Oh, uh-oh. I mean, you might have a couple go. I mean, that's not too bad. Oh, get in the hole. Oh, there we go. Wait, yeah, I mean, it could always be worse. Right, so let's just shimmy, 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 because I just want to slide them down a little bit. Oh, you're in the way, aren't you? Little star. Oops. Right, move you. I might just half this tape actually as well, just so I can, because I'm not convinced that I've left much there between the that sort of score line at the top. So this is the thing though with stuff like this, you can always just trim it down. I get a lot of use out of this stuff. Let's see. If I cut that, probably cut that slightly too short, but hey ho. Let's use the other little bit. Yeah, because it's not much of a line between the score line and where I've finished cutting out the things, but that's on me because I just didn't give myself a massive amount of room, so just bear that in mind when you do it. Let's see, little pocket. Okay, there we go. So we've got a little sparkly something going on there. I'll just slide these back into the, the pot. I'm going to end up with like, I mean, every Christmas I do this, I find like stars all over my, all over my house. Right. Oh, and still all over my fingers. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. So we've got this little kind of pocket here now, and what we also still have is this gap in the top here. So what you can do is punch your holes to have this in your album, and then you can cut out either the, I mean these you can resize these to however you like, but basically you'd sort of have these kind of slide in the pocket here at the top, and then what you would do is tape, double-sided tape, kind of everything else, back it to another sheet that would be your sort of next side, your next page, and then you'd have this little free space here for you to slide things in. So you don't even necessarily need to use the pockets. What you can do is screen grab your favourite TV shows, and then all like Christmas TV shows or what you're watching or Christmas movies, screenshot the cover or write down like the name, and then they'll be able to slide in, so you'll sort of see them behind your TV. So it's just sort of a fun, cute idea really. As I say, this is very low tech, just for me to kind of basically show you what's going on in the background really, just so you kind of know. So yeah, I mean that kind of works pretty well though. Obviously the issue with using tape is that things will stick to the tape. But you know, you're still getting quite a lot of movement in there, so that's quite nice. So yeah, what I will do is I'll do the this one too, and I'll kind of come back and show you with these little tabs as well. And then what I'll also try to do is just screen grab a movie or something, so you can kind of see what I mean about the pockets sliding in, and yeah, and then I'll be back in a sec to show you that. Okay, bye. Okay, so I think we're kind of there actually. What I've done is I've punched the holes and I've backed it onto just a pattern, plain pattern paper, so it's sort of a bit more sturdy now. And what I've done is taped sort of around the edge, rather than in the centre, so I'm not interfering with this sort of little fold I've created here in this gap that I can basically slot things into still, so it's still a pocket. To just really quickly print, I mean it's a bit sketchy, but it's just to kind of show you really, but I've quickly printed off just a screenshot of Scrooged, and then just put a little quote on the reverse from the film. And then basically the plan is that you can then use these little sort of tab guys to then like slide into the TV. So you could kind of stack in a few different ones. I did another little one there, which is like a Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation, but you could kind of stack, like, you know, you can kind of slide in a few of them. You just have to be careful obviously that you don't push them in too far, because then they'll disappear into like the the void between the two sort of pages. But if you kind of stack them together, then you can just kind of slide them in into your album. So you could have like a few of them and then just be able to like pull them out, you know, and show them that way. So that's sort of a possibility. You could also do, like I said before, you could put journaling on the back instead, like date stamp when you watch the film. You could do, instead of doing screenshots in the movie, you could put the movie poster on, or like the TV show. So there's a few sort of different options you can do, and then that kind of just lives in there as this little kind of pocket thing, sort of like the telephone. And then that's kind of like your day. You can then like further embellish this by putting like the number on, or date stamp the TV, or, you know, there's a few different things you can kind of do, but that's kind of that one. And then I just sort of also did the same sort of situation on here, and just kind of washi taped, double-sided sticky taped this little guy onto the back with the vellum. So that's kind of how it looks with vellum instead. My silhouette's kind of cut that a bit sharp on that corner. Yeah, so that's kind of another option, because you could do this, or you could cut out the die cut comes, you could make the die cut like as big as you want really. So if you made the die cut really big, you could make it just a shaker pocket, and then you could have that like in your album as like a page. You could print it out twice and back it to itself. Hello. Clem's chatting. So you could do that, or you could do it as a die cut. You could bump it up and you could have it on a page sort of as a shaker, but also kind of as like a 3D element by raising up on some pads. Or you could do basically what I did with the phone. You could do this with a die cut. You could put foam pads just around the outside of it, stick it down, so then you have your pocket where you can still then slide these things in as well. So it's a few different kind of options for what you can do with it. And within this template file are the different two TVs as 2 6x8s with the polka dot backgrounds. The red one has some green polka dots. This one has a pale pink. Then there's die cuts of the green, the red, and then a line drawing, sort of like the phone, a line drawing TV that you could colour in with the kids. That might be quite sweet to have the kids colour it in for you and then pop in what they're watching. Yes, there's a few sort of options for what you could do with it. And I'll try and see if I can put in an SVG file as well with the sort of sliced top on it too. I'm not great with SGV files, and I don't even know if it's SGV or if it's SVG. Who knows? Tell me in the comments. No, don't. Whatever it is, I've got it one way around or the other. But the silhouette files, I'm not great with them. I'm not great with my silhouette. I'm still sort of very much learning. So yeah, but I could try and pop one in as well, so then it's like an option. But to be honest, you can just drop this 6x8 template file into the silhouette software as a PNG file, resize it to 6x8, and then, you know, print it out in your silhouette and have the silhouette cut the shapes for you as well. You could just do that way. But I'll try to put a silhouette file in as well. Another thing that I'm also going to be doing is a mobile phone one. Let me see if I can grab my album without completely smashing everything up. What would that be? God. See, everything's so precarious in this room. I swear. It's a nightmare. Let me see where I've got this. Yeah, so also I did this template, which I used myself. I just made it for myself in my Week in the Life album, where I had like the phones as a silhouette, and then I popped on top of them what I was listening to that week. So I'm creating a template of this as well, with the different phones. One I'm going to have with like different Christmas colour backgrounds, but they obviously won't have any of the images on it, so you can literally just drop in what you're listening to. And I'm going to do that in a few different versions as well, so that's just something else which will be on the way. So yeah, it's things to sort of look forward to really. And then I'm also going to put together a new VHS from my old Christmas album, because I know a lot of people really liked that video, so that's something else I'm going to be working on too. So yeah, it's just to kind of let you know and kind of keep you in the loop with what I'm up to, my shenanigans. My cat's eating things. Will you not do that, thank you? Eating my Christmas supplies. But yeah, so there we go. It kind of works, and I'm quite pleased with how that's kind of gone, but there's plenty of different options for what you could do here. So this is just kind of basic bare bones version, but there's plenty of cool stuff you could do. So yeah, have at it really. And let me know how you get on. I'd love to see, so always link me, because whatever you're on, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you're using, I'd love to see. So yeah, please let me know if you do use any of the templates and how you use them, because I'd like to have a little sneaky peek at what you get up to. Okay guys, well I'll leave it there. Lots of love to you all, and I'll see you all soon. Okay, take care. Bye.